It's time for another train ride. Today, we're taking you for a fun little excursion aboard the Old Patagonian Express. If this feels like a bit of a deja vu, that's because yes, this is our second time riding this iconic train. But this time around, we're going to be doing a different segment of the journey because we just like trains so much. So join us as we spend a beautiful afternoon soaking in the Patagonian landscapes aboard an old steam locomotive train. All aboard! Well, good morning, guys.
Good morning. Greetings from El Bolson, Argentina.
We
are back in our favorite Patagonian town.
Indeed, it is. And we've actually taken a break from filming for the last week, but today we've signed up to do our first excursion.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So we're going to El Maiten to take another epic train ride here in Patagonia. This is going to be our third. We did the La Trochita from Esquel on a different route, and now we're taking the La Trochita from El Maiten. It's going to be a completely different route. It's basically, if you've never heard of this train, it's like a rustic Patagonian train, right?
Yeah, this is basically the Old Patagonian Express.
Yeah.
And there's only small segments that you can ride nowadays. It's not a continuous route anymore. So last time we were here, we did one section. Today we're going up to El Maiten to do a different section.
And we should mention it is a tourist train at this point. It's not like you're going from one place to the next.
No.
It's kind of nice. At least on the ride to Esquel, what happened was we got on the train, beautiful scenic journey through the valley and mountains. We stopped, we had a little bite to eat, the choripan.
Yes.
And it was a great day and just very fun to be on the train. I remember a man came on and played music, entertained everybody.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it again. We liked it. We're doing
so
it
much
again.
fun, and it will be a different route, and it'll be interesting to see how these two routes compare. So that's the plan for today.
But first, breakfast. We need food. A little fuel to get us going, guys.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, Nelsie. Hi. Come here. Are you coming? Hi, Nels. Hi, Nelsie. You're a nice footy.
Well, we needed a little breakfast before our big excursion today. We're at one of our favorite little cafes here in town. It's called Jauja.
Yeah.
I got myself a grilled ham and cheese because it is mid-morning at this point.
Yep.
A little juice.
Orange juice. We don't want to eat too heavy before we go on the train. Because if it's like the last train ride, there should be some snacks or the opportunity to get choripan, which is the sausage in it. Yeah,
there was last time.
There was leaving from Esquel. Also, we should mention about this cafe that this place is more famous for its ice cream and its chocolates, but it does have a fantastic cafe.
What are you having?
I'm having toast with jam.
Ooh, fancy, fancy.
Yes, it's called the Classico breakfast, and it comes with a café con leche.
Time for the chichingi time.
Yes, and I should say that was the perfect combination of a little bit of savory and a little bit of sweet. So that came to 560 pesos, which at current exchange is approximately $9 US. And they're just a nice light meal before we get on the train, nothing too heavy. We want to save a little bit of room in case they have choripan for the stop on the train.
We just walked over to the tour agency. It is called Grado 42, and we booked the excursion for $37 US per person. That includes transport over to El Maiten. Apparently we have a guide, and obviously the train ride. So we're just waiting for everyone else to gather out here in front of the tour agency, and we'll be on our way.
We're gonna hop in the minivan.
The drive from El Bolsón to El Maitén was only 1 hour, and we arrived a bit early so we had plenty of time to visit the railway museum and also the locomotive repair shop. Fun fact, when a working component of the Old Patagonian Express breaks down, the workers have to handcraft a new part since the train is so old that spare parts are no longer produced industrially. So that's what the repair shop is for. Made it to El Maitén.
We made it. I think you slept half the journey.
Guys, that's to be expected, okay? I get in a car, I get on a train,
Yeah.
I fall asleep.
So it was interesting. We were going along on the main road. It was serpentine for a while and then straight, but a gorgeous journey. Oh my gosh.
I missed all of that, guys. I missed it.
Valleys, snow-capped mountains, cute little towns. Audrey, you really got to keep your eyes open.
So we got here probably like 30 minutes before boarding the train.
Yes.
So we met up with a local guide who showed us around the museum.
Right.
Then we walked over to the workshops. They were just talking about the conditions here in Patagonia, you know, like how rough the winters are and what it takes to keep these trains running.
Yeah.
Like she was saying, when they have tourists who are coming to do this little loop and it's the middle of winter, sometimes they need to get the trains running like 2 days before.
Oh my gosh, just to like heat it up and
going.
stuff. Wow.
And then also in the museum, they had photos of trains like flipped over, like derailed. And it said like they never actually had any train accidents, but the wind here in Patagonia is so strong that in the past it had been blown off the tracks and like just...
We're filming right now in a corner to avoid the wind. It's actually windy right now.
It's windy.
Imagine coming in the winter with snow on the ground, snow-capped mountains. Oh, that would be a whole new experience.
So to give you a bit of information about this train, the Old Patagonian Express is locally known as La Trochita, which means little gauge. That's because this is a narrow gauge railway that's only 750 millimeters wide, or about 2 feet 5.5 inches. This railway network once stretched out 402 kilometers and it was built to help connect Patagonia. However, its use eventually began to decline as the road systems improved, plus part of the railway network was never completed, which kind of left this line a bit isolated. But then things changed when Paul Theroux published his book The Old Patagonian Express in 1978. Suddenly, travelers started to take interest, and well, today a short portion of the original railway operates this heritage train. After a while, we crossed over to the dining car because it was time for afternoon tea, and you know we don't miss a chance to eat. The dining carriage had a small cafeteria on board, so we got some hot drinks and pastries.
Gracias.
So we crossed over to the food compartment to have our little afternoon tea. We also got the medialunas, which are like croissants. And it is really loud in here. Like, I don't even know if you guys can hear me because I can barely hear myself speaking. It's just the rattling of the train. But we're gonna eat and drink a little something, enjoy the scenery, and then go back to our seats. thoughts on the journey so far, keeping in mind that this is our second time riding aboard the Old Patagonian Express. All right, we've made it as far as the train's gonna go on this little excursion. The tracks do continue, but we're getting off here and the train is actually going to reposition for the way back.
Yep.
But I wanted to chat a little bit and compare this journey to the one that we did from Esquel to Nahuelpan.
Yeah.
Because they are both the Old Patagonian Express, La Trochita, but the experience going from Esquel was different because when we arrived in Nahuelpan, there were food stands and there was an artisanal fair. Like there was a small little community living there, so there was a bit more action. Like there were pets, dogs and cats running around.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. But with this one,
it's a little more remote, isn't it?
It is remote. We're surrounded by like pine tree plantations.
Yeah.
Like forest plantations. And there is nothing here but a burnt down building. So we've all been told to get off the train while it repositions. We can snap some photos, but there isn't actually anything to do here, and that kind of surprised us because we thought it was going to be the same as the previous experience.
Well, it's good we had our coffee in Media Luna when we did.
Yeah, and also comparing the scenery, I was more impressed by the scenery from Esquel to Nahuelpan because we were riding up from a valley and you had impressive mountains to one side. This one has been relatively flat. You do still get to see a few mountains off in the distance, but it's like very dry, very arid.
Still beautiful. You have a little,
it is still
you have a bit more visibility in all directions here, but you're right, you're not as close to the mountains. They are different journeys. They're completely different journeys.
Two different train journeys. If I had to only pick one, however, I would choose Esquel. If you guys only have time for one train ride and you're going to be visiting both El Maiten and Esquel, do the Esquel one because it's just more impressive.
Yeah, it's a little more impressive. Also a little more busy there too.
A little more busy. There were more tourists. This one has less people, but they were telling us during high season it fills up.
Oh, I bet it does.
So,
I think for me still the ultimate would be to do this journey in the winter.
In the winter, in the snow?
Oh yeah.
That would be very cool.
That would be epic.
We're back in town.
What a day. We're not, it's been a while since we've had a full travel day.
Yes.
So it was,
we've been relaxing for a week, guys.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since we've had that much sun too. So it was a lot of fun going out. I loved it. I mean, just any chance you can be out in Patagonia experiencing like that rugged scenery, those snow-capped mountains off in the distance. You just kind of look out the window and your mind just starts racing. Like I start daydreaming. Like it's just postcard perfect, honestly.
And I saw some wildlife. I saw several hares running through the Patagonian steppes, so that was pretty cool.
It was very cool. So overall, a great experience. I mean, our opinion still holds. The one going from Esquel is if you can't do them both, do the one from Esquel.
Yeah.
But still, that was great. And I had a lot of fun.
And as another tip, if you want to do the more budget-friendly version of this tour, instead of paying for transportation and a guide and like the train ticket all as one package, you can make your own way to El Maiten using public transport.
Yeah.
And then you can buy your ticket in person at the station once you arrive.
Yeah.
But if you are like traveling during high season, I wouldn't risk it and show up last minute
No.
hoping there's room for you, because
No,
we
that's
were
true.
told that it does fill up. But
Yeah.
if it's like the off season, shoulder season, you can try that.
You can check it out, and it does run all year too, right? The train.
It does. It runs more frequently from Esquel. It goes out every week from Esquel. This month there were only 3 outings out of El Maiten, and
So every
sometimes
10
it's
days.
less. So, but yeah, it's a really cool train. It's very rustic, rickety, loud. It shakes, it bangs. The windows just fall. It's
Yeah,
an
but that's
experience.
part of its charm. That's
Yeah.
honestly part of its charm. Anyways, a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, we'll be leaving El Bolson and heading south. Our Patagonia adventure is really just beginning. And yeah, we're going to be heading to the far south. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.